Special meeting of the City of Rancho Palos Verdes City Council, June 2nd, 2026. Could we have the roll, please?
Certainly, Mayor Pro Tem. Councilmember Bradley.
Here.
Councilmember Ferraro.
Present.
Councilmember Lewis.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristam.
Here.
Mayor Sale.
He is excused.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. We have a quorum. Our next item is the approval of the agenda.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
We take roll on that?
Councilmember Bradley.
Yes.
Councilmember Ferraro.
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis.
Yes.
Peristam.
Yes.
Motion passes. With that, we can move to our regular business matter. Forgive me, Mayor, we have a little bit of an echo. Our next item is item number 1, interview applicants for the position of Chair of the Civic Center Advisory Committee. Our first applicant is Mr. Paul Close.
Interview.
You're not
Hi, Paul.
on. Yes,
Okay.
I think you just did it. Well, the light went on, but then now it's on.
Okay. Greetings, City Council.
Welcome. Well, thank you for coming in, expressing interest to being chair of your committee. And we'll just open it up to the council for any questions they may have of you.
Okay, great.
Do you want to say anything prior to our questions?
Let me just get the questions, and if there's, can I do stuff afterwards if they're not
Sure.
addressed? Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
I
Questions?
have a question.
Councilmember
How long have
Ferraro.
you been on the committee?
I think it's 3 years. I filled in for a vacancy last term.
And what makes you want to be the chair?
Well, it's a chance to maybe bring new ideas, a new personality. It's kind of like, I think Greg, he's been doing a great job, and I've learned a lot from him. But it's like maybe it could be time to turn it around, rotate it, just like you guys rotate the mayor for similar reasons.
Yeah, they didn't want me anymore.
Any other questions? Councilmember?
No?
Councilmember Bradley?
I guess can add some more
Yeah.
to that.
Maybe I'll ask a couple.
Lewis.
So this term is chair is 1 year, right? And the term for the appointments is 4.
4 years.
Could you guys work out a deal of some kind? I don't know.
You mean with me and Greg?
Yeah, like figure something out. Anyway.
Sure. It's up. If Greg's open to that. I think he's been chair for a while, and it's just more, I just want to increase my leadership in the committee. Just kind of want to try 1 year to see if I can bring anything new. I think I'm kind of repeating myself, but
How long have you lived in the city?
30 years. And I've been getting really involved with the city. A lot of people here know me from other things.
30 years in the city.
Thank you. Councilman?
Yeah. So, Paul, one of the challenges of the Civic Center Advisory Committee is the fact that we are without funding to really do the Civic
Yes.
Center. And that's probably not going to change anytime in the near future. Hopefully, we will have some improvements to our finances, and we can go. But what do you hope to accomplish as chair for the next year and over the next 2 to 3 years on a committee where the city just doesn't have funds to move forward with any meaningful programs?
I'm well aware of, being on a committee for that long, what have you been through and what the future holds or doesn't hold. So what I'm looking at is stewardship for the things that could happen, like the Wayfarers Chapel, the negotiations on the emergency zone, and new things that might come up. Because it's actually those things kind of popped up out of nowhere while I was on the committee. So it's very unclear what might come in the future. So it's doing the best we can with what we have is kind of all that we can do right now. And then hope for things to get better in the future.
Right, understood.
Anything else? One question. Have you put your hand up to become chair in any previous years, or is this the first time you're making this request?
It's the first time.
Okay.
So this year I'm starting my new term. So I kind of thought it was a good opportunity, like a new start. And Mr. Lewis suggested we work it out. I mean, I'm okay to have maybe a rotation or some of the system, or I can return it to another person like Greg again. So I'm open to that. It's not like I want to take over or something.
Are you the current vice chair of the
No, I'm
committee?
not.
Are you going to have a reorganization meeting?
Yes.
Coming up in the next
We may.
next meeting?
The current chair has expressed, the vice chair has expressed interest to not have that position also.
Okay,
Is to not be vice
To
chair
not be
again?
vice chair again.
great.
Would you be interested in vice chair?
Possibly, I could do that, yes, if she was okay, and I think she is. Linda,
Would you like to make any additional comments before we interview the chair, current chair?
I think that's pretty much it. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Our next,
I have one more question. Was there some reason why you didn't get your request in before the actual deadline?
Probably, I didn't realize that was coming up so fast after I was approved. And I think I saw it, I think that evening after it had closed. I contacted immediately the next day. So it's kind of an oversight, but
Okay, thank you.
Anything else? Anything else? Okay, Chair O'Brien?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, thank you for reappointing me to the committee. You know how strongly I feel about its potential and the potential of the project. And we have a wonderful committee. We have good people, such as Paul, who are invested in this. We are all looking for good things to come. Following the Wayfarers Chapel reception about 6 weeks ago was the mayor's breakfast. So I pulled Ara aside afterwards and asked him, why did Robert Carr, why did he have to say 2 or 3 years maybe? And he said, well, he's just being conservative. He's just, he wants to make sure that we don't get ahead of ourselves and promise more than we can deliver, which I understand. I respect that. And he said, so I asked him, but what are we doing? He said, Greg, and when he was not specific, I want you to know. He said, Greg, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. The right people here are talking to the right people back there, meaning Washington, D.C. And I have no reason to feel pessimistic about this. So if the city manager is not pessimistic, I'm not pessimistic. In fact, I am optimistic. And I'm optimistic too, because Robert Carr has invested so much time and energy going around and speaking to my Rotary Club and other clubs and making an appearance before our committee and other public places and doing that wonderful reception that they did, and having that sign that showed the picture of the chapel and being on the front of the Palos Verdes magazine. All of that publicity, all of that enticement, all of that drama, sales, for something that he doesn't really think is going to happen for another couple or 3 years, he would be premature. And I thought, this guy is not somebody who's premature. This guy is somebody who knows what he's doing, and he has a quiet confidence that he can't quite share with us for diplomacy reasons. And so I am doubly assured, I guess, by inference from Ara's remarks and from his remarks. And I look forward to this challenge. And I think the committee looks forward to the challenge. We have for a couple of years now, for reasons beyond our control. But the potential of that campus, as we talked about when, or I talked about when you interviewed me to be on the committee, is enormous. And the possibility, the probability, I think, of the Wayfarers Chapel joining us on that campus is high. And it will become, as they say, I guess, in the shopping business industry, the anchor store of the enterprise. Once that happens, I think it's going to be a moment of high adventure. I think we are going to be able to entice other businesses, as I've mentioned before, get private money, and find a private developer to do P3 financing and to build a city hall on terms that will be favorable to us as well as to the builder. So I look forward to those things. And I just want to say something about ideas, because we've heard a lot of ideas over the last couple of years. We've studied a lot of proposals. We've had a couple of workshops. The public has been involved. They filled out questionnaires, surveys about what they would like there. And we have discussed a number of things that we could do with that property. But we did not decide to do most of them. And you approved the preliminary plan and adopted stage 1 as complete, and we were ready to go to stage 2 until the dam broke loose, so to speak. So I think that there are ideas, and all of them have some merit probably, but I think there's something that's even more important in the future, and that is vision. And I have had a vision for that property for a long time, a vision to serve the public with our new campus, a vision for the employees who work there, a vision for all of you who spend your time with this city without much compensation at all, really just, you're almost volunteers yourselves. And I think that the vision I have is one that is going to be exciting to complete. And I just have to say that if I were to step aside right now, I would be disappointed. I would be disappointed not to be there to help complete what we have imagined, what I have imagined, what we have talked about, and what all of us have talked about. And that's my statement.
Thank you. Questions of the chair?
No questions?
No questions, but I'd just like to say thank you for all you've done.
Thank you. All right, thanks. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
With that,
And
Mayor
we'll be voting during the regular meeting later on tonight.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
2 of us are leaving.
The two of you are
Feel
together.
free to stay till 10 tonight.
No, we're not.
Oh.
Tonight.
Can we stay till 11?
Sure, but we won't be here.
Chickens.
Thank you.
With
So
that, Mayor Pro Tem,
that's the end.
we can adjourn this meeting if you'd
We're
like.
adjourning this meeting to the,
Fireside.
No, we're adjourning this meeting, and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to open our regular meeting.
Oh, sorry.
meeting.
Oh, I
So
thought we were
welcome
open.
to our regular meeting, city council meeting of the Rancho Palos Verdes City Council on June 2nd, 2026.
Now we're open for business.
Now we
Certainly,
are.
I'll call a roll.
And we can call roll.
Councilmember Bradley,
Yes.
Councilmember Ferraro,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristam,
Here.
Mayor Seo,
He is excused absence.
We have a quorum, Mayor Pro Tem. Our next item are public comments for closed session. Seeing none, we can move to our closed session item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and members of the City Council. The item on the closed session agenda tonight, we are respectfully requesting that you continue to the January 7 meeting of the City Council. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
What?
We're not ready.
January 7 meeting?
January?
Did I say January?
You said January.
Yes, I like January. January would be good for
January.
me.
Clarification?
That's good
July 7, I apologize.
forward planning, I would say.
Well, life would be much easier if it were January.
Okay. Thank you.
So I believe, Mayor Pro Tem, you'll be recessing to the fireside room, and then you'll come back and reconvene our regular meeting.
At 7 PM.
Yeah, we're just going to recess now, and you're free to go back and finish dinner, and then we'll come back and resume the regular meeting.
We're recessed.
Yes, you're
Thank you.
recessed.
The regular meeting of the Rancho Palos Verdes City Council meeting for June 2nd. Next,
call the roll.
pledge we have to take roll again?
Please.
Let's have roll
Councilmember-
call again.
Forgive me. Councilmember Bradley,
I'm still here.
Councilmember Ferraro,
Yes, here.
Councilmember Lewis,
Still here.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristam,
I'm here as well.
Mayor Seo.
He's still excused.
Thank you, sir. Our next item then is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rodich, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
Place our hands on our hearts. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Our next item are the mayor's announcements. Oh,
Doing mayor's announcements.
Mayor
we have
announcements
two-
next.
We have two ceremonial items for you this evening.
Okay, the first one is the Tap house.
Yes, we've got the owners of the tap house, and if
The
they want to
house.
come up,
Okay, that's great. This is the fun part of the night. Can you come on up? We have a presentation for you. Ready to go?
Oh, For a brewery, you don't have to ask me twice.
And for the public's benefit, the city council has been spending this year at each of our council meetings recognizing all of our local businesses in our city and expressing our support for them and telling our residents and community to come out and support our local businesses, because when you succeed, we succeed.
Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem.
First-hand experience there a little bit.
Councilmember Brent.
So it's a pleasure to.
Councilmember.
To do this. Oh, we have. So I'm going to do.
You guys get in the center? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem will talk.
There we go. Okay. So the Tap House, the family-owned business operated by mother and team, the Winnings. They're proud to be a family-owned business serving the local community since the opening doors in September 1st, 2019. Wow, I didn't realize it was that long ago already. So it's located at 31234 Rancho Palos Verdes Drive West in the Golden Cove Center of Rancho Palos Verdes. Peninsula Tap House specializes in craft beer, fine wine. You should be doing this. Handcrafted burgers and wild-caught seafood made with premium, high-quality ingredients. I'm doing your infomercial. Peninsula Tap House think of their customers as family. They love and enjoy bringing the community together through live outdoor music, happy hour, trivia Tuesdays, wine Wednesdays, and specialty food specials. Peninsula Tap House goal is to create a welcoming place where people can come together over food, drinks, and entertainment. So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Any comments? Oh, of course.
I'm just highly disappointed that there are no samples that you brought for us, which would make tonight that much easier. But I guess that would have been inappropriate. But I have partaken at your establishment. It's a wonderful place there in Golden Cove. Wishing you all the best and continued good fortunes. And thank you for all you do with the community.
Thank you so much, guys. Well, do you want to say any more about your hours and your exact location for the? Sure.
At Peninsula Tap House, we want to thank everybody for being here, first and foremost. We love our community, and we love being able to supply a friendly atmosphere for people to get together and enjoy some live music or trivia, whatever, makes you happy. Monday through Friday, we're open from 4 o'clock to 10 o'clock. On the weekends, we're open at noon, and we close about 10 o'clock. So.
You're in Golden Cove next to.
And we are located in Golden Cove Center, right next to Pokey Me. So. On the same side as Avenue Italy as well. And we want to thank everybody for coming out again.
Terrific, congratulations.
It's a great place to go. We've been there for on several occasions. So we're so glad you could come tonight.
Thank you. We're going to get a photo.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Coming down.
Yeah.
Oh, they're going to be there, yeah. We appreciate you.
Go back. Go back.
So proud.
So the second group we're recognizing tonight is the outgoing Youth Advisory Committee members. Tonight, I'm honored to recognize the outgoing members of our Youth Advisory Committee for their service, leadership, and commitment to our community. For those who do not know, the Youth Advisory Committee is a city committee that serves as a bridge between youth and local government, giving RPV students in grades 7 through 12 the opportunity to engage in civic life, share their perspectives, and raise issues that matter to youths. Members help improve the quality of life for young residents and gain a deeper understanding of how local government operates. This year, Youth Advisory members volunteered with the REACH program, participated in Well of the Day, collaborated with RPV TV and the city's public information officer to develop public service announcements, and are planning to a home hardening event in collaboration with the EPC and PVUSD. Your time on this committee reflects a meaningful investment in the future of our city and residents. On behalf of the City Council and our community, I want to sincerely thank you for your dedication over the past 2 years. You gave your time, ideas, and energy to ensure that youth voices are heard in local government and in our community. While your term might be ending, we hope you stay engaged with the city and community for many years to come. Thanks again for your service, and we're proud of your contributions and look forward to seeing you all, what you accomplish in the future. So we're going to ask you to come up and do a presentation one by one, and then we'll bring everybody up, including if the parents are here, for a group shot, group picture. Thank you.
Okay, so
Back up.
you're going to need
Pull
a
back up. Do we have something to give
microphone.
them?
She's got it.
Oh, Terry.
She's got the microphone. You're going to do it one at a time?
Yeah, we'll do it one at a time. Waiting for the awards themselves.
We're waiting for what?
The awards.
It disappeared?
They were that good. Somebody has absconded.
Show must go on, so
will go on.
we don't have anything physically to give to them, but we will give
Tonight.
them,
We do apologize. So
you'll still get them.
you will get your awards. So come up when I announce your name. Adrian Cruz,
All right, yeah.
come on up. It's your evening. Crystal Dang. Corinne Peterson. Maya Sung Barrett. And Matthew Song. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for your service. It's important that we have people that are younger than us with a vested interest in the community, because you are the future communities. Well, I was trying to be nice. It is. So as the councilman always says, it's the drug. It's the gateway drug to being involved with a lifelong interest and sometimes even career in local government. So we really do appreciate the time and energy you put into this. So I have a couple of questions to ask of you, and I'm going to let you have some moment to yourself to speak to us. One is,
See how well they studied for their AP Civics exams?
that's the councilman's question. But just think about your experience. Was it rewarding, and next steps in your plans? So we'll just go down the line here, or anything else you'd like to say.
Well, I thought that this experience of serving on the Youth Advisory Committee was rewarding because I had a stronger understanding of how local government works at the city level. I thought I valued that the Youth Advisory Committee was treated as or on an equal level to other planning commissions or advisory committees. I think the ability to, plan recommendations or write letters of recommendations for statewide policy or city policy was interesting, as it really showed that the youth have a voice in our city.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Matthew said, but it was really rewarding to be on the YAC I was on it since my sophomore year, and I'm a senior now, so it's fun to it was nice to see how it grew and what we all did, and we did a lot of good work with e-bike ordinance and then advising the city council, and I just really have an interest in government, so it was really nice to get my foot in the door and hopefully continue on there after I graduate high school.
And were you the chair?
Yes, I am the chair. Yeah.
Thank you.
It was really rewarding for me to learn about local government, and I was also able to work with members of the Emergency Preparedness Committee and also in our school district. So it was a really enriching experience for me. It's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity, I would say, to experience this. And I'm really proud of all of the work and effort that each of us put in, especially as we move on from this committee. I'm also interested in maybe pursuing government or something political science related in the future. So this is a really great experience for me.
This opportunity has been really great. I've been on the YAC for the past 3 years, like Chair Peterson, and being able to work also with like-minded people that really care about the youth in our community and the different decisions on behalf of the youth has been a great experience. Learning about the different processes in government and being able to give our opinions has been awesome. And I also think that moving forwards, I'll be able to use a lot of the different tools I've learned from this Youth Advisory Committee.
Yeah, like the other members said, it's been so wonderful to work alongside other like-minded people and people from, all of our community, other youths. One of the things I thought was really special was working on the e-bike ordinance and kind of looking at that issue in our area. And then this year I was able to attend our district's Capitol Convoy trip and was able to go up to Sacramento and advocate for passing e-bike safety legislation at the state level. And that was a really special experience, especially. And being able to take what I learned here from our city and our committee and then taking that to a state level was a really special experience. Yeah.
Thank you. Councilmember? Comments?
Well, just I was going to ask a question. So what high school are you all from? Peninsula? Palos Verdes. Palos Verdes? Peninsula? Peninsula. So 3 Peninsula, 2 PV. Okay. Well, it's amazing that you guys have, amazing you guys have done what you have done. It's we do appreciate the time and effort that you put in. Like Mayor Pro Tem said, it is somewhat of a gateway drug. I too went to Peninsula High before it was called Peninsula High. So you could be standing here in a couple years. So set your sights high. Good luck in your future endeavors, and thank you for all that you've done.
Yes, we're going to need all of you on this council somewhere along the way. So you're smart to get your experience early. But I have a feeling that all of you are going to do great things wherever you are. And we really appreciate your service to the city and the community. And just keep up the good work.
I'm going to double down on this because I note a great coincidence today. What's today? Today is, it's election day, right? And what are the things that constituents love to do? I don't mean here in PV, but I mean everywhere else. People complain. And they complain about what happens from government and why government does certain things, and then they don't vote, or they don't participate, or they don't understand how the process works. So what you guys have done is excellent, and I hope each of you in your conversations and in your journeys can help explain the need for engagement, the need for understanding of the process, so that we can have a more informed citizenry that will, and then in turn, inform government the direction we need to go. So I think it's actually very appropriate that today we're recognizing your work on Election Day.
Thank you. Can we get some pictures here? There we go. We're going to have the group, and then we're going to have the parents as well.
I'd like to have our staff liaison also join the picture.
We need to give Irantu a big shout out for being the staff liaison and helping keep our youth in order. Because I know you guys are overachievers. You guys are going all over the place with all these ideas and have been doing brilliant work. And thank you for everything you do.
Can we bring the parents up, please, as well?
Parents.
Whatever parents, come up and claim your children. Are we the only parents?
All family. All family.
You go out drive by yourself.
Why don't we put the
you
committee up
guys
first?
and we'll get behind you.
We'll get behind the committee.
Our city is so lucky to have so many good kids that want to participate. We really appreciate it. All right, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks very much for your
Thank you.
You can sit down.
Can you make this up any farther?
What do you want?
Can you make it go up any farther? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. What a great group of students we've had.
Well, if they would have stuck around till 10:30, they'd even be better, but they're smarter than we are.
They're already gone?
Don't you hear the tires in the parking lot?
Way smarter than us. The next agenda item?
Next item is by acclamation to move approval of the Recycle and Emergency Personal Preparedness Kit drawing winners Vartan Zaronian and John Soroyan.
Yes, yes.
Move approval.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
You're turning in your postcard?
I'm sending my postcard in.
I don't know.
Never win.
To Armenians.
Next agenda item is approval of the agenda.
Yes.
Move approval of the agenda.
I'll
Second.
Oh, ooh, three-way second.
I had my Wheaties, I got there first.
I think he was there. I heard him first. Councilman Lewis, the second.
Okay.
I know.
Councilmember?
I know. Now, I just want to make a
Heard
competition.
Councilman Lewis. I heard Councilman Lewis.
Okay.
Yes.
Man, I'm getting ganged up on
Councilmember
tonight.
Ferraro? Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristan?
Yes.
Motion passes. With that, we can move to our public comments for non-agenda items. Seeing none, we'll move to our LOMITA Station report.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, staff, and our PV residents. My report is actually very short today, so that's a good thing for our PV. I'm just going to give you the latest crime stats. As of May 19th, from May 19th to today's date, there have been, again, 0 homicides, 0 rapes reported, 0 robberies reported in the last 2 weeks. Only 1 assault reported, but I am encouraged and happy to share that the assaults for the year are down 45% compared to last year at this time. We had 0 residential burglaries reported, and we are down 42% this year on residential burglaries. We only had 3 larceny thefts, no stolen vehicles reported in the last 2 weeks, and no arson cases. So far this year, we've had 102 Part 1 crimes reported compared to 171 at this time last year, which is a 40% reduction for the city of RPV. So those are stats that we're happy to report. Some notable arrests that we had during the last 2 weeks. Mirror Est had an incident, intermediate school, where another student threatened a student with a weapon. That weapon was, ended up luckily being a BB gun that was recovered by our detectives, and they are handling the case as we speak. On Friday, May 29th, deputies responded to the 2900 block of Vista Del Mar. A suspect had bypassed the private security gate. Victim saw the suspect on the video and asked them to leave several times, but obviously they refused. Deputies responded, detained the suspect, and checked the residence. There was no sign of any entry made, but this suspect was taken into custody for trespassing. That's just a reminder to all that just of recent, there have been those same types of crimes in the neighborhoods. So it is important to get a ring or video surveillance on the property, invest in some lighting, and definitely a guard dog to deter these suspects from entering the property. Our SAT team and DB team have been very productive. We had an operation during the early morning hours on May 21st, and we arrested the prowler suspect from Dauntless, the Dauntless Drive neighborhood. They also conducted surveillance in the RPV, RHE areas on Anacapa Lane and Crest Road due to recent residential burglaries. Core team, they went to Green Hills Memorial Day event to celebrate Memorial Day. And then they also attended the RPV Wildfire Resource event. And just this Monday, we had our Special Olympics torch run. So we were happy to participate in that event. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Any questions from council? Okay. I'm gonna say one thing here. This is typically what we said, oral reports at the end of the meetings, but you may not be around at the end of the meeting, so I'm gonna communicate now. I had the opportunity to finish my LA Sheriff's Department Contract Cities Academy this last Saturday. And that was the fourth of 4 sessions, and it would end with weapons training. And I have to say that if everybody that would have the opportunity would take advantage of that, they would have an appreciation that you really can't experience without going through that. It's open to all electeds. It's open to city managers, and I think it's open to other public service, public safety people in the cities under contract in all Los Angeles County, and it was just outstanding. So I just want to make that point to you and to take that message back. And what we have to do is we have to get more people there. And we say this every month, that this is just a real great opportunity, and we need to expand the number of people that are participating in it because it's very meaningful and insightful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and I will definitely pass the word along.
Okay. Next agenda item is
Our city manager report.
City Manager's report.
Yes, thank you, and good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Peristem and members of the City Council and our viewing audience. And thank you, Mayor Pro Tem, for stepping in for the mayor in his absence and running tonight's meeting. So get comfortable in that role. My report this evening is a little longer than usual. I have a lot to cover, so I want to start off with wishing you a happy election day. We all have our stickers on, and if you're wondering why it was so difficult to find parking, it's because Hess Park is one of the vote centers in one of 2 vote centers in Rancho Palos Verdes.
It was actually really easy to get parking because of the excellent staff we have.
Yes, when you're a council member, we make sure you have reserved parking. That's a privilege. But with all seriousness, there's about 30 minutes left to cast a ballot. And if you haven't done so, there are 6 vote centers here on the peninsula, 2 in the city. And there's actually a ballot box that you could drop your ballot off before 8 o'clock this evening at Rancho Palos Verdes City Hall. So if you haven't voted, go out and vote. It's your civic duty, and wear your sticker proudly. So next slide. And as the captain mentioned, on last Monday, May 25th, was Memorial Day, and I want to take this moment to actually thank Green Hills for their annual event that they put together for the public, and it's always free to the public. And I know the city council and myself attended this event, and it's always a very moving and emotional event. And this year's theme was to recognize and pay tribute to the fallen in September 11th. And believe it or not, it'll be 25 years since that horrific incident, and also to recognize those who served in Operation Freedom Iraq. So it was a very moving event, and it dawned on me that, and speaking with some of the event coordinators, that this event that's put on every year is starting to dwindle in audience, and we need to make an effort to make sure that this event is well publicized and that we go to it. It's always in the morning. It's about a 2-hour event. It's always a beautiful day, and it's a great show, and it's very important for us to always remember the meaning of Memorial Day. It's to remember and to honor, and so we'll make a point to promote this event next year and make sure attendance moves in the opposite direction, and that the event is crowded with lots of people there.
I wanted to tell you, despite the fact that I'm not in the picture, I was there too.
You were there, yes.
In fact, I thought it was great that our city had every single council member there,
Yes.
plus the city manager.
Yes, thank you. And the other peninsula cities were also represented and their city managers, so it was a well-attended and very meaningful event. And speaking of, if you want to move on to the next slide, 2026 actually marks the 250th anniversary or birthday of our great nation. And if you haven't noticed, and I'd be surprised if you haven't noticed, all of our intersections are decorated with the flags. And we've updated, we're actually using the 250th anniversary flags that are flying. So we thank you to Dan and the Recreation Parks Department for going in and updating our flags to represent this milestone. And all of our banners on the Western Avenue commercial corridor have also been updated. And so those flags and the banners will remain up for most of this summer as we go through various holidays, including Flag Day, and then of course, July 4th. So next slide. And with that in mind, of course, July 4th is going to be an extra special event, and the city's hosting our annual July 4th festival at City Hall. But I want to remind residents that fireworks, as much as they're beautiful and fun, they are illegal to launch on the Palos Verdes Peninsula, the entire peninsula. We are a very high fire hazard area. Do not launch. We will enforce the prohibition. The fines are steep. The first offense is $1,000, the second offense is $5,000, and the third offense is $7,500 and increases thereafter. So if you do see or hear anyone launching fireworks, please call the Sheriff's Department at 539-1661. Next slide. And on Tuesday, or I don't know if it's Tuesday, I think it's June 10th, the South Bay Alert is going to issue a wireless emergency test, and that's going to happen at 1 p.m. on June 10th. So you'll get that on your phone, and the message will just say emergency alert, and it'll explain that this is just a drill. And this is all in preparation of World Cup that starts here in LA on that Friday. So if you go to the next slide, I'm going to just repeat the announcement that I made at the last council meeting that there's a watch party happening at the Promenade. It starts at 6 p.m. It's USA versus Paraguay, and it's free, and we're inviting the community to come out to this watch party that's being put together by AYSO.
Where is it going to be?
It's at the Promenade on Friday, June 12th at 6 p.m. Next slide. So the city's got two surveys that are floating right now, and one has to do with wanting to solicit community feedback on what you want our budget and our priorities to be spent on in terms of services and capital projects here in the city. And so we've got a survey that's floating for the community to respond to by June 30th, 2026. And you can access the survey on the city's website and various social media tools as well. It's a great opportunity to give us feedback on what you would like to see. I know we've done one original original survey, our initial survey, and the overwhelming results that came back at that time was concerns regarding roads and doing road maintenance, wildfire preparedness, and addressing the landslide and land movement issues. So if you go to the next slide, we also have another survey that's floating that we're asking the community to take this 3-minute survey. And this has to do with RPV TV and the programming. We're asking that you fill out this survey, and it takes about 3 minutes, and it's also due by June 30th. Next slide. And the weekend of June 12th, 13th, and 14th, it's the annual Palos Verdes Peninsula Street Fair, and that's hosted by the Palos Verdes Peninsula Chamber of Commerce. It's held at Rolling Hills Estate. It's in Rolling Hills Estates, but it's always a fun event. There's carnival rides, food, music, live entertainment, arts and crafts, and just a great opportunity to hang out with your neighbors, your family, and watch the kids ride all those carnival rides and wonder, oh my God, to be 10 and 11 again, to ride those rides and not get sick. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. And moving onward, summer may not be here just yet, but it is in Rancho Palos Verdes. We're starting our annual Movies in the Park summer event, and our first movie is going to be Saturday, June 13th. I know it's the same day as the street fair, but go to the street fair during the day and then come to the Kendida Civic Center to watch the movie in the park. And I believe the movie for June 13th is Bad Guys number 2. I've never even heard of it, but I'm sure it's a lot of fun. So, bring your kids out, and it's an animation film. Is that okay?
All right, you do not do well in trivia pursuits, pop culture, do you?
No, not at all. Only in my bubble. Next slide. And we continue to have the Coffee with the Mayor, and this month's event will be at Ladera Linda on Friday, June 26th. It's at 10 a.m. It's 1 hour, and it's a great opportunity. I say this all the time. I've attended them, and it's a very informal opportunity to speak with the mayor, find out what's going on, ask questions. Staff is there to help answer any questions on what's going on, raise any concerns. It's from 10 to 11, and if you're lucky, you may be able to walk away with a free mug with the city logo on it. They're actually nice mugs too. And June is Pride Month, and we join LA County and the cities in LA County in celebrating Pride. So for those who observe, enjoy, celebrate, be proud. Next slide. And Thursday is graduation day here on the peninsula. So all of our graduates, we want to, especially some of those that were on the Youth Advisory Committee that are moving on to bigger and greater things and going to come back and serve on the city council and other committees. We want to wish them a happy graduation, a class of 2026. So anything from what we saw earlier today, we're in good hands. The future's in good hands. We got some pretty smart kids ahead of us. And of course, this I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to our council member who's celebrating a birthday this week. We won't make it awkward. We won't sing for you, but happy birthday on behalf of all of us here. So, and that concludes.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, just one thing. So, Ara, you mentioned the Coffee with the Mayor. It is interesting you mentioned coffee. We do have a new coffee house that has had a soft opening in the city over on the east side in Marilys Plaza, Jam Coffee. I think they're going to come before us and talk about it. But we now have a coffee house in the city. Really exciting to see a new business go into Marilys Plaza and bring in some people. I had an opportunity to stop by there on Friday and have a cup of coffee in their soft opening. 2 lovely ladies started it that met as parents of Marilys intermediate school kids. So really a cool local story. So I'm interested when they come forward, and I think we're going to even try to have a coffee with the mayor at Jam Coffee. Actually, really good coffee too.
Thank you. That's it? All right. Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr.
And mine
City
too.
Manager.
He concludes my report.
And the council members' input. Next agenda.
Our next item then is the consent calendar.
Consent calendar.
Move approval of the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
There you go. You got him this time.
See.
And that's we do not need a vote on that.
Yes, she
Or do
does.
we?
I can do a roll.
Okay.
Councilmember Ferraro?
Yes.
Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristam?
Yes.
Motion passes. With that, then, we can move to our our public hearing matter. Item number 1, consider amending the restated declaration of restrictions, the maintenance agreement related to the Trump National Golf Course, case number PLMH 2026-002. Notice of the public hearing was duly published. Late correspondence was distributed earlier this evening, and I currently have 5 requests to speak, including the applicant. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's open the public hearing, and could we have the staff report, please?
Yes, we have Senior Planner Amy Serrati. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the council. As stated, the item before you this evening is a proposed amendment to the Trump National Golf Club Maintenance Agreement, also known as Amended and Restated Declaration of Restrictions. A little bit of background, the original maintenance agreement was recorded in 1997. There was an amendment in 2018 that clarified maintenance responsibilities and additionally, removed the expiration date such that they needed to maintain all of these items in perpetuity. Among other things, the applicant is responsible for trails, open space, parks, habitat areas, and other city-owned properties. Specifically, restriction number 7 in this document, which was adopted along with the conditional use permit, currently requires city council review, a formal official review to see how they are maintaining all the trails, et cetera, every 12 months or 1 year. And specifically, this is the restriction itself. It is based on a tracking system and protocols that were implemented by the city. That used to be an Excel spreadsheet. We are moving to a electronic tracking system similar to the one Public Works uses, or it might be the same exact one as well. So as you may recall, in April of this year, this annual review was brought to the council. And prior to that, on March 30th, the applicant actually did submit a letter requesting that the maintenance agreement review frequency was changed from annual to biennial, or once every 2 years. And the applicant did cite their ongoing responsiveness as well as administrative efficiency as reasons for this request. And here you can see the proposed revised condition that does change it from a 12-month period to a 24-month period, unless the city determines that the review is warranted earlier. So there is that caveat in there. And it does mention that the owner shall implement and or perform all the requirements of the city throughout the year, not just following any review. And just it should be noted that the applicant and the city, we would maintain coordination of the maintenance requirements throughout the year. And as previously stated, the formal review would just be once every 24 months unless earlier review is warranted. Also should be noted the public can continue reporting any maintenance concerns to staff or open space staff at any time. And biennial maintenance reviews would typically improve resource allocation, like I said, administrative efficiency, but we would still maintain the ongoing coordination, oversight, and compliance. We did receive some public correspondence in response to the application. These included similar concerns that were brought to the council in April, including trail erosion, foliage overgrowth, damaged fencing, trail ruts, et cetera. There were some concerns about the safety hazards and lack of proactive maintenance. Staff did relay these concerns to the applicant again, but again, we did not necessarily consider them non-compliance, as these issues are typical and recurring and are continuously addressed by the applicant through ongoing maintenance. There was some additional late correspondence provided by staff, updated maintenance agreement. All attachments, or pardon me, all exhibits were attached, and just 2 blank spaces in one section of the maintenance agreement were deleted as it was determined they were not required. And additional late correspondence received from residents. Some of the late correspondence was positive. It did support changing the review period from annual to biennial. You can see here, they state the applicant's record of maintaining the trails. The other supporters did note, the applicant does remain in communication with staff. And they also stated they felt the trails were consistently well maintained and actively monitored. There was a letter, another late correspondence letter detailing concerns about extending this review period, citing neglected trail maintenance, delayed repairs, and lack of accountability, specifically mostly about the Catalina Trail Bridge. Staff would just like to note that we are actively working on the project. We did visit the site with the applicant's consultants and the city geologist approximately 2 weeks ago to discuss repair and/or relocation options, so that is moving along more swiftly than in the past. And additional photographs that were submitted on the left with some trimming issues. The photos on the right were provided by the applicant. To the best of my knowledge, this is the same area, but the complaint did not include a specific location, but they did recognize, the applicant did recognize this and completed the trimming as part of their regular maintenance. So in terms of next steps, city staff plans to continue working with the applicant and pertinent agencies to continue moving forward with the Catalina Trail Bridge project, continue providing the applicant with software guidance, meeting regularly with the applicant in between the biennial reviews, should the council approve it this evening, as well as working with the applicant to ensure that the New Zealand Christmas tree hedge that's on the west side of the driving range does remain compliant, because it does have very specific requirements. So all that is to say, city staff does recommend that the city council approve amendment number 1 to the 2018 restated declaration of restrictions, also known as maintenance agreement, between the applicant and the city to modify the review period from once per year to once every 2 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Any questions to staff before we hear speakers? I have one. Is the new system up and running?
Pardon?
The new system,
Yes.
is it operational?
They are using it, yes.
Okay, and that's in the last 30 days, 60 days? I don't remember when this was before us last time.
I think they have been using it prior to the April meeting where we brought the maintenance review before you. I don't know exactly. I think it might have been sometime last year where they started implementing it.
All right, thank you. First speaker, please.
Mayor Pro Tem, we'll call the applicant, Ms. Lily Amini.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor Pro Tem, City Council, City staff. Thank you so much. Yeah, we just definitely agree with the city staff assessment of everything. I think we've done a great job. Again, it's not going to be a perfect science. We are very proud of the hard work that our team has done for the past 8 years, standing in front of council and being reviewed. Just like Amy had mentioned, we're not just being reviewed every year, we're being reviewed every day, every week, every month. So we are in touch with city staff. If there's any issues that come up, like I've told you before in my last statement, is that everybody has my personal cell down to the park ranger. If anything that they see, we are very, very open to hearing feedback or taking any calls, any text messages from anybody. My email is out there. And we've had some wonderful residents who have brought things to our attention, and with that, they've always said that they're very appreciative of the work that our team has been doing. So I'm just very thankful, and hopefully this can go through, and I'm here for any questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Next speaker, please.
Our speaker is Uday Patil. Via Zoom.
Are they on?
They're on Zoom.
Hello, can you hear me, please?
We can. Welcome. And anytime you'd like to start, you have 3 minutes, please.
Thank you. My name is Uday Patil. I'm a resident of the Seaview neighborhood, and I'm also a registered geotechnical engineer. I walk the trails at the Trump Golf Course quite often, and I would like to bring to your attention to the closure of the eastern half of the Catalina Trail. I think Amy mentioned that portion where the trail has been closed since 2021. It's been over 5 years now. And they closed that portion of the trail because they observed some cracks on the approach slopes of a bridge. The bridge was considered unsafe due to potentially unstable slopes supporting the bridge, and it has been closed since. I've been visiting that area pretty often. It still stays closed. I cannot go there to see exactly what is happening either. But you would think that 5 years would be more than enough time to do the repairs and open the trail. The giant landslide that happened on the 18th hole many, many years ago was designed and repaired in less than 2 years. In comparison, these slopes are minuscule, roughly about 15 feet high. But the only thing that has happened so far in 5 years is meetings, site visits, and some preliminary study and plans for studies and studies. As a geotechnical engineer, I can tell you that this is not a complex problem. If cracks appear, the first thing to do is to promptly fill the cracks and improve drainage, as we've done so many times in the city, so that we don't aggravate the problem. I don't know if even that has been done to this date. And a permanent remediation, such as supporting the bridge on a few short caissons, should not really take more than a month. And if there are issues related to hydrology and the stability of the slopes and erosion, that is a separate issue. But the bridge can be easily supported with short caissons that don't rely on the sloping portion to support the bridge. But we seem to be spending a lot of time and money on studies and reviews. And I wouldn't be surprised if that time and money spent so far has exceeded the cost of the remediation itself. So I'm really baffled as to how much longer it would take to resolve this issue if we approve the request to increase the review period by the city council. I'm told that doesn't really make any difference. But my question would be, why does it take 5 years and we can't even break ground yet on a simple problem like this? And as I said, the stability of the bridge can be decoupled from the hydrology issues and erosion. That's a separate issue. But nothing has happened. I would really like you to give attention to this issue and please open the trails as soon as you can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I'm going to ask for if we could have that update that was provided last month on the status of the trail and some of the complications, because I share Mr. Patel's frustration with not having that. I'm a walker in that area in the past years as well, and you get to that point, and if you get out there, you're ready to go. You're in a serious walk, and you can't go any further. So appreciate an update as like provided last April.
Yes, I'll provide as well as I can. Community development staff is working with the Recreation and Parks and Open Space Department regarding this. The bridge is surrounded by protected habitat that was dedicated in perpetuity as a condition of approval of the entire development. So part of the reason why it's been somewhat delayed is that it's not just the engineering that needs to be determined, but meeting to determine, what is the least amount of impact to the habitat? How can we apply, mitigation measures? What will the federal Fish and Wildlife accept? And we've had, several meetings with them, as well as, any environmental documents that would have to be processed. I know there were some other projects, and I don't want to speak for Dan here, but I know there were some other projects that the staff I've been working with was working on, and they've finished those other pressing projects, and they're back on this project as well. And I don't know if Dan can speak to any more of that.
That combined with the federal shutdown, that also put a little bit of a delay. We have had productive talks We're looking at trying to lessen the impact and potentially use the same site where the bridge is, which would put less of an impact on the habitats surrounding the area. So I think we have a pathway to success, and we should see some progress here. But yeah, between several other projects that have taken up priority, and then now I think we have a good pathway for success that I think we'll see some progress, and hopefully it'll be resolved soon.
And Mayor Pro Tem,
thank you.
I want to stress first off, I think we need to make this abundantly clear that that bridge is not stable. And the public needs to stay off that bridge and away from that bridge. As simple as the speaker may have characterized it, it is a very complex issue. There are multiple agencies that are involved, regulatory permits that need to be obtained, not to mention getting the sign-offs by the geotechnical engineers, both by the city and as well as the applicant. We have been working, we have not been complacent on this issue. We've been working with both the applicant and the city's teams to identify the best approach and the preferred option to stabilize that area, as well as reconnect that trail with as minimal impacts to biological resources, as Amy indicated, from the Wildlife Agency. So we are working, we're all very eager to get that bridge repaired, restored, but the first and most important thing is making sure the public safety is in mind, and then all the other steps that we need to check off before we could restore, tear down, rebuild, whatever the geotechnical engineers direct us to do. So we continue to work on it, and we'll continue to keep the community updated.
Okay, thank you.
Next speaker.
I can't resist that, even though our students left us, that one of the comments I made earlier about the youth group is that the understanding of how government works is really important. And while I can understand and sympathize with people that say, just fix it, just do it. You know, there's restricted assets there. And the stewardship of restricted assets, whether they be money or physical assets, is a really, really high responsibility of government, because the plundering of restricted assets is one of the worst things you can do. Even under the guise of like the best intentions, it's basically taking money which is dedicated to another purpose, or taking an asset dedicated to another purpose and stealing it. We can't do that. So this is one of these instances where the understanding of the full picture really would help, even if it frustrates people. So thanks for keeping an eye on those things, team.
Thank you. Next speaker,
Our
please.
next speaker is Jabe, I believe it's Kanki? Conky. Forgive me, Conky.
No worries with a name like that.
It's the first time anybody's mispronounced it, right?
What? Excuse me?
It's the first time anybody's mispronounced it?
And not only that, I have to usually spell both of them, and I'm the first Jabe they've ever met. So yeah. It was really nice to see the young folks here. It reminded me of the outstanding Peninsula High mock trial students who I coached for about 15 years. And they're just terrific, and it's amazing and very worthwhile, as you folks understand. At any rate, I decided to come in because I had submitted a letter on the Friday within the time frame before Memorial Day weekend, but it was on a Friday and then Memorial Day, and somehow it fell through the cracks. I'm not criticizing anybody. It came, I think, today with late correspondence. But I thought I would come in because I didn't know whether you would really have an opportunity to look at it. I did receive an email when I sent it in saying it would be incorporated in the staff report. But again, the timing wasn't the best. I guess I should have been more punctual. I'm speaking in opposition to changing the time frame. Why? What is to be gained? What's the advantage? I know the city is under significant pressures with the landslide and other obligations, but allow the city and Trump National to more effectively allocate resources while continuing to maintain consistent communication and coordination. Verbiage to me, I mean, if the system is working so well as it is, and I don't think necessarily that it is, but if it is, why do we need to change it? What is going to be saved? Pittance in the scheme of things. If the system is working, leave it as it is. What's the advantage to the city? A small amount of time of staff. What's the advantage to the citizens of this city? We want to enjoy those bluff tops, especially, and it is possible for somebody to be older than the council. I'm pushing 80, and I'm sure I've got a few of you anyway. I like to go out there and walk, and I like to walk when I don't have to push the brush aside. And I think that having an annual review is an incentive for maintenance to occur. It's a magnificent stretch of coastline. Look at Councilman Hollingsworth's rendition of our city logo. That's it. That's what we're talking about here in the second largest metropolitan area in the nation. We have something wonderful for us to enjoy, for me to get exercise, even though I've got an artificial knee that's a year old, I can still get out there and do it. And I don't see any significant reason why this should be changed. I urge you to consider this, not make a decision tonight. Come back when the full council is here, when the mayor is here, in addition to the mayor pro tem and the rest of you council members, and think about it. Why? Thanks.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Our next speaker is Mickey Rodich.
Thank you, council and staff. I'm in agreement with the staff report that suggests amending the maintenance agreement, the periodic review of the obligations to be biannual instead of annual. It makes sense. Trump has always done a great job of maintaining their maintenance obligations. They are in contact with the city throughout the year, and they hold check-in Zoom meetings when needed. They're monitored through the city software program. I don't think that it's important to have a meeting every year. Thank you.
Thanks, Mickey.
Our next speaker is Lene Bilski.
Good evening, Vice. I'm happy to stand in front of the council for this particular issue because I live close by in the Seaview. My name is Lene Bilski, and I want to thank you for your service to our city, and also thanks to the staff for the flags and the banners for our wonderful 250th anniversary. When I received the notice of this proposed amendment, I was really surprised. I thought, why in the world would they want to have fewer reviews since the area is not in very good condition at the moment? So I wrote and sent photos of the details on the trails, weeds, debris, broken fence posts, etc., and the overgrown New Zealand Christmas tree hedge, which has been there overgrown for so long. And so therefore I was in opposition. I thought, if it's not this good in 1 year's review, how much worse is it going to be with a 2-year review? I checked previous years' Trump National Agenda reviews from 24 and 2025 and saw that staff and residents had sent in similar photos of the neglected trails and complaints, written complaints. So how can this be? What kind of schedule does the Trump National have? When I requested it from the planner, Amy Cerati contacted the applicant and forwarded to me the schedule. Well, I wasn't too pleased because from the long schedule, there were only 3 things mentioning the trails. We know, of course, that there is grooming and pickup along the golf course and, of course, along the driving range. and the parks, but there were only 3 issues for the trails. One was a weekly check of the trash. Well, I've seen trash there since 2 months ago underneath the New Zealand Christmas trees. And then, of course, we have the beautiful, well-manicured golf course and driving range. But the trails are marked for quarterly checking, and I don't think that's sufficient. So whether the review is every year or every 2 years, we need more frequent monitoring and maintenance of the trails and of the foliage, like the southern berm is overgrown and the New Zealand Christmas trees. When the agenda came out, I did notice changes in the text, which may be of benefit. So the staff has actually recognized the need for more effort, and surveying and monitoring any time during the year is what's listed in the new amendment. That is good. So whatever you decide, please emphasize to the applicant the importance of the trails, not only the golf course and the driving range, and the need for better stewardship of this beautiful property. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Mayor, we have no further speakers but we do have the rebuttal time for the applicant.
Good to see you, Lene. So we 6 to 7 miles of trails we take care of. I know the New Zealand Christmas trees. I actually went back there. There's no trash there. Behind the trail, there are obviously a lot of people that go through the trails, through the golf course, back of the range by the New Zealand Christmas trees. Please let it be known, it is not our responsibility to clean up after people. That needs more public engagement. There's a lot of graffiti, there's a lot of trash that we are not going to be able to go and pick up after every single trail walker. That's just not a reasonable ask. We are there to maintain those trails. I think out of a city of 40,000 people, to have a couple of letters, I think we're doing a pretty good job. I'm not sure what letter or email that Lene is referring to, but I know that our guys are on the trails every single day. They're on the golf course every single day, on the trails every single day. But if there are major projects that we need to do, we do take time to do it. And like I said before in the first meeting, this is not something that we are, it's not a perfect science, but at the end of the day, it does take time for us to assess the situation. So if there are poles, if there are fencing that has, been, let's say, deteriorated or knocked down, we have to take the time to be able to plan that out, to be able to go back onto the trail to fix things. Things are not going to be done in 2 seconds. There has to be, again, a reasonable ask when we go out there to maintain the trails. But I think we're doing a pretty good job. We've been in front of the council since 2018, and for 8 years, I think we've been doing a good job, good track record. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Any questions? Questions for staff?
I have one.
Councilman Farrar.
It's my understanding.
It's a public hearing, and the public hearings, unless you want to close it, if you have questions, it's still open.
Okay.
Should we close it?
No.
If you have questions for the applicant, then
No,
keep
staff.
it open. If it's staff, I would then close the public hearing.
We'll close the public hearing. We'll close the public hearing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Ask your question for staff.
I know, but I'm trying to think what it was. See, you get me
Do you
confused.
want me to go, and then I'll buy you some time, and you can go after me?
Yes.
I have a quick question for staff. So we've had in the past a reporting method for public to call in issues that they encounter, and we've recently upgraded that to a new system. I think when we talked about this a few months ago, we talked about the incidence of reporting, and I don't know that we got super hard data on it, but over the past 2 years, how could we characterize the trend line? Are there lots of reports coming in from the public? Is it steady? Is it increasing? Is it decreasing? What are we experiencing? And what volume are we really talking about of people calling in with problems?
I see. Yes, thank you, council member. The actual number of complaints that come in is primarily managed by open space staff. They manage, coming in from like the trail volunteers, public walking the trail. They can submit complaints there. So I don't know the exact number. I know it is a very large reserve and there is a lot of activity, like the applicant was saying, graffiti and trash and damaging some of the public, restrooms, et cetera. I don't know if Dan can speak to that, but I think it's been relatively stable. It may be a little bit less as we're getting, the computer system ramped up, but I do know that the rangers are in communication with Lily and Michael Bowles, her maintenance superintendent as well.
Maybe I can refine my question a little bit to get at what I'm really getting at. I think vandalism is a separate thing, and I'm not inclined to see that vandalism is per se the responsibility of the applicant. But I'm just talking about this is overgrown, or there's a giant pothole in this trail, and then somebody comes and registers a complaint about that. And where I'm really going is that, of course, this becomes an agenda item, and people come forward, and some people, as we've noted, some people support this change and others don't. But the people that don't support the change are sending pictures and showing this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. And what I'm trying to really understand is this cluster that comes now because we're talking about this as an agenda item. Is this a cluster because it's an agenda item and all these problems really weren't problems 5 months ago and nobody bothered to report them? Or has there been a lot of consistent noise on these same things that hasn't really been addressed? That's what I'm really getting at, because whenever something pops up on the agenda, of course, people are going to come out on both sides and have their opinions. I want to know how it's been working when it wasn't an agenda item.
Thank you for clarifying. Dan can correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that these complaints are submitted throughout the year. I think they're brought, like you said, brought to the fore because of this agenda item, but I believe they are continuously submitted, and there isn't quite enough staff to go out and check, make sure they've completed every single one. But Dan, I don't know if you have more to speak to that.
We haven't seen an uptick compared to any other areas that we have trails or high visited areas like PVIC or Terranea. It's consistent. I don't know if there's been an uptick since this became an agenda item. I don't have those numbers in front of me, but I wouldn't classify these trails as they have higher rates of complaints for trail maintenance issues.
Okay, thanks.
And I think what I'd like to do is also put things in context, because what you're hearing this evening and some of the correspondence you received as a result of this agenda item are common maintenance issues that we see throughout the city in all of our open space areas. It's very hard to maintain every mile of trail, and we have 33 plus miles worth of trails. And so, and the weather plays a toll on it. Usage plays a toll on it. And so we've got staff that are out there with the Trail Watch volunteer groups that go out and identify areas that need attention, as do our developers. We have trails on private property through easements that when those projects were approved, there are agreements in place. What is before you this evening at Trump National is similar at Terranea. And so we rely on the public to report these incidents, and then we go out there and we respond. And I think we're pretty responsive.
Did I buy you enough time?
Yeah.
Councilmember Ferraro, are you ready?
Yes, okay. I'm ready. It's my understanding that when you get a call from someone and you call Lily or someone at the Trump golf course, that they check on things right away and that you are contacting them, if not weekly, pretty often. Is that the case?
Again, as community development staff, we are kind of not as involved in the everyday back and forth as the open space staff and the rangers are. But I know it's fairly regular that they do communicate. I do try to, like I mentioned before, hold these informal meetings with their staff just to see what's going on, check out with them. Do they need anything from us, from the city to, replace signage or trash cans or anything to repair trails, et cetera. So yeah, again,
I guess.
Dan
would
may
say
be able
yes.
to speak to that.
We have a great working relationship, open lines of communication, and when we do get calls and complaints, we follow up immediately, and they're very responsive.
That's what I thought. I mean, in some ways, it's almost like the report makes it sound like it's once a year, and now we're going to twice a year, every 2 years for communication about fixing things and getting things made right. But you're pretty much doing that all year long, aren't you? All month long. Sometimes maybe you don't talk to them every day, but probably on an average of it once a week.
Having the new system that we've had in place for over a year now, that's really improved communication, because that really, we definitely do not rely on this once a year, potentially twice a year reporting period to communicate. We do communicate monthly, weekly, and as issues are called out or brought to our attention.
I'm going to suggest that, in debates, nothing ever overcomes emotion, but the next best thing is data. So, I think it would be really to the benefit of the city and to the applicant as part of this new system, just to treat it like you get with an IT help desk. A call comes in, reports there's a crack in this trail here at this marker. That becomes ticket number 13 or 59 or 161, and it's time-stamped, and then it's resolved, so that when we come back or we have citizen complaints about this, we could say, hey, there were 42 calls in the 60-day period, 40 have been resolved and 2 are not resolved due to legal issues or whatever it is, so that we then aren't just sort of having opinions of, I saw this was broken and this took too long, and, oh, they're doing it really fast. We have data. So I recommend that going forward.
And we do have that information based on the system. That's exactly.
Well, that's what I was asking for in my last question.
Yeah,
right?
I don't have the figures
about
in front of me on the data, but it has significantly improved the old system before the reporting system that we had, almost like an Excel spreadsheet, versus the system that we have now. It's very efficient, and it's really improved communication.
Okay, but that's great, and there's nothing more to be said about it tonight, but I will say that if there's ever a time to gather that data and have it ready to answer questions to, it would be tonight, or actually would have been 60 days ago, and we talked about this last time, right? That's when we need that as evidence to support our decisions. So next time around, I recommend that. Thank you.
Other questions of staff? Deliberations or a motion?
I'll make a motion to accept staff recommendation to move to 2-year, to come back to council for a status.
Second.
Have a vote, please.
Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferraro?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristem?
Yes.
Motion passes. With that, we can move to our regular business item number 2. Consider the fiscal year 2025-26 year-end estimates and the fiscal year 2026-27 preliminary citywide budget. I have no request to speak.
And Mayor
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristem, while we're changing seats and getting situated here, I'll go ahead and make some opening remarks here. So tonight, you're being presented the preliminary budget for fiscal year 2026-27. It's a culmination of 4 budget workshops that began back in February, March, we had, and then April, and in May, we had 2 budget workshops on the CIP. And I think based on the input that was provided by the city council to staff, we were able to address the concerns particularly related to the capital improvement program, where we identified shortfalls in funding projects and being able to continue with the maintenance and the operations and maintenance of our landslide efforts. We had a special 4th budget workshop on May 18th. I think that was very important and critical in the series of preparing this budget, because we were able, in an informal workshop setting, present some options to the council, present some ideas, and get some feedback. And that was a worthwhile exercise, because what you've provided us that evening is now folded into the actual preliminary budget that's before you this evening. There are no salient or significant changes in any of the numbers or any of the information that you have reviewed in the workshops and given us that guidance and direction on. So with that, I want to also take another moment. I've said this at the past workshops. I want to acknowledge our finance director, Vina Ramos, our deputy director, Robert Moya, who's also celebrating his birthday today. So and he's fashionable in a bow tie. Our senior analyst, James O'Neill, Catherine John, our deputy city manager, our public works director, our finance director, our community development director, and our recreation parks director.
Our public works director just spends the money. He's not helping budget it.
No, he helps very much in putting that budget together as it relates to the CIP. So all of them, I just want to say thank you, because I'm in rooms and on meetings and calls with all these individuals, really trying to make sure that the council's fiduciary responsibilities and you are conveyed to us and put into our budget, and making sure that the city is structurally sound so that we can continue to operate without any shortfalls. We've had to tighten our belt a little bit this year. We're able to do that, and we're also want to be able to do the capital projects, maintain the landslide, maintain our roads, and all those things that we're asking the public to provide us input on those surveys. So I think you'll see that in the report. I know we're going to try to keep it at a very high level. So with that, I'm going to stop speaking and hand it over to the finance director.
Thank you, City Manager Moranyan. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council members. We are back again on number 5 meeting. We do have
33% more budget workshops than normal.
Yes, 33%?
33.
Yes, I like that. So agenda tonight is similar to the last 4 meetings. I will not read it, but you have it on there as our guide. So we do have overall summary for you, and I wanted to report. I'll start with the budget process. So we do have 6 budget meetings. We started on February 23 for City Council to set priorities and long-term goals. We also had 3 budget workshops this year, 33% extra. We reviewed the general fund and the capital improvement program during those 3 meetings. And tonight is the preliminary budget. The presentation you'll see tonight will look familiar. A lot of them are the same slide deck that you saw the last 4 meetings for the public and the audience at home watching or watching the recording after. I want to report that there are no changes to the numbers. It's simply summarizing the last 4 meetings. And then finally, on June 16, it will be a budget hearing and a formal budget adoption. Before I hand it over to the Deputy Director, Robert, I wanted to give you some preliminary budget by the numbers. I'll start with the budget workshop highlights at the bottom before we get into the numbers. So in the last 4 meetings, we presented the budget framework and assumptions. You also receive a presentation of the city's financial overview, similar to an income statement and a cash flow. We also talked about the city's pay-as-you-go approach. The City Council also gave us direction on budget reductions for fiscal year 26-27. We also reported on City Council fiscal sustainability. and the community survey, and we also did some analysis on the reserve policy. Now going back to preliminary budget by the numbers. So for general fund operating revenues, what we're asking for your approval tonight is $42.5 million for operating revenues for general fund, $37.5 million operating expenditures for general fund. These numbers include approximately $1.9 million of budget reduction. The reduction were overall including including personnel, non-personnel, and some capital projects. These were presented on the May 18th meeting. Based on the proposed budget tonight, the reserve policy is sustained at 50% or $18.6 million, leaving the general fund unallocated balance at $10.2 million. Based on the proposed tonight, the general fund transfer to the CIP total is $9.2 million. This amount is 37% above the TOT projected revenue of $6.7 million. On the capital improvement program, we are proposing 19 projects for $31 million. As part of the fiscal sustainability goal of the City Council, since 2 years ago, based on those efforts, we've increased fund balance by $11.3 million. Unfortunately, we do have an unfunded capital improvement program that we reported to you in the last meeting of $4.5 million for fiscal year 26-27. When we are combining 5 years total for unfunded capital programs, we estimate, and again, these are just based on budget assumptions, of $86 million for 5 years. We also presented some samples or potential impact of increasing or potentially increasing revenue sources, and that's TOT and golf. We provided some analysis, and based on that analysis, the potential is approximately close to $27 million for the next 10 years. And that summarizes the preliminary budget by the numbers, and I'll hand it over to Deputy Director Robert Moya, and James will also present the revenue sources and eventually the financial model. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, members of the City Council. As Ara mentioned, today is my birthday, and my family actually asked what I wanted to do to celebrate, and I said I wanted to spend the evening discussing revenues, expenditures, and reserve policies, and they were surprisingly unavailable. So,
Vina,
Did you?
great hire, great hire.
Did they tell you they didn't believe you?
well, they actually came over to earlier, and they spent some time with me, so that was really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the year-end estimates. So next slide. Revenues and transfers in is about $42.5 million is our projected year-end. This is about like $900,000 above revised budget, which is 2.1% favorable variance. Our expenditures was 36.3. That's what our estimates are. That's about 2.6 million below our revised budget, about 6.7%. Transfers to CIP is 5.7, and that remained pretty consistent with the budget. And basically, the key drivers are just we anticipated stronger revenues than anticipated. We had vacancy savings and lower overtime costs, and projected basically project timing delays that caused that. On here, this is basically the capital improvement program by fund. These are all the various funds, but mainly the revised budget was 32.4 for all funds. We have a year-end estimate of about 17.7%, which is about 55%. And the variance is primarily due to project timing, grant funded and capital projects that often span multiple fiscal years. And basically, unspent appropriations will be rebudgeted as the project continues. Next slide. And with that, I'm going to shift it over to our senior analyst, James, to basically talk about revenue.
Thank you, Robert. Good evening, all. For our preliminary budget for all sources, we're looking at $64.3 million. Obviously, the majority of that, as depicted here, is general fund. We've got CIP at 1.7 million, or 3%, but special revenue funds is significant there at 31%. Next slide, please. There we go. For expenditures, we're at $77.2 million for all funds. General fund is at 48% of that. 34% of that spending is out of special revenue funds, with CIP representing 16%. As noted there, $12.9 million is from the prior year's fund balance related to CIP projects. For the general fund specifically, we're looking at $42.8 million. That is for revenues and for transfers in combined. This is up $1 million or 2.3% compared to the revised budget for 25-26. The majority of that is coming from property tax at 44%, and TOT, or transient occupancy tax, at 16%. Next slide. So for property tax, a graphic that you're all mostly familiar with, this is a depiction of how the dollar that is spent or spent by property taxpayers is received. We receive 6 pennies on the dollar there, and we've got major contributors represented there to the right. Next slide. When we talk about property tax, as I've mentioned before, it really is 4 separate categories. There's secured property tax that most people are familiar with, the in lieu of vehicle license fees, which, there as well. The redevelopment property tax trust fund, which unfortunately is projected at 0% for the upcoming year. And then $400,000 in property transfer tax. So those 4 areas combined are representing $19 million, and you can see how that compares to prior years. The second largest revenue source is our transient occupancy tax, or TOT. It is 10% of the room charges for stays 30 days or less. We are projecting $6.8 million for the year. That is projected to represent 6.7 from Terranea and $150,000 from other sources like America's Best Value Inn, that's represented there on the screen. Again, you're talking about 10% is our tax rate of the occupancy sales, so that would represent $6.9 million there, and you can see how that compares to prior years as well. For sales tax, we're projecting $3 million for 26-27. This is about 7% of the general fund revenue assumptions, and this is up about a little over $150,000 compared to the 25-26 budget. So when you're paying 10.25% sales tax, you can see 1% of that is representative of revenue coming to RPV, with the other sources going to state and local programs, state general fund, and LA County district programs. And again, the $3 million that's projected is essentially flat compared to the prior 2 years. Utility users tax is essentially a 3% tax on consumer use of electricity, water, and gas, and $2.9 million is projected for fiscal year 26-27. Representing 6.8% of our general revenue assumptions. And that is up, again, as was mentioned at the April 20th budget workshop. It shows that it's up 19%. That is not necessarily looking at really an increase in overall revenue as much as just a correction in the budget compared to what we've received past years. So it's more representative of what we have received in the past. And as you can see, when you compare that to 25 and 26, it's essentially flat. So we've just adjusted the budget and the expectation for that. And with that, I will turn it back over to Robert for expenditures.
Thank you. For general fund expenditures and our annual transfers out, our total was $41.2 million. Of that, non-personnel was $21.4 at 52%. Personnel at $16.1 million at 39%, and our transfers out at $3.8 million at 9%, excuse me. More than half of general fund spending supports services, contracts, and operations, while personal remains the second largest expenditure category. This slide is basically just our general fund expenditures by department. Our total operating budget is $37.5 million, of which public safety is 9.9 at 26%. Public works is $8 million at 21%. and admin's 6 million at 16%. And as you can see here, the overall expenditures are 1.4 million lower, or 3.6% than the FY 25-26 budget.
Robert, could you go back one slide? I just have a quick question. So on this one, it shows personnel. Those are direct personnel costs of city employees, and non-personnel, since we are a contract city, majority of that is also personnel costs, but that we contract out. Is that a proper way to characterize it?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. I mean, we're not spending $21.4 million on non-personnel, other things like, I have no idea what we would spend $21 million on, but it is on contract personnel services.
That's correct. Yeah, contract personnel, equipment replacement, and things of that nature. And I'll have a slide in a few that I'll basically explain what the non-personnels are.
Okay. Thank you.
Slide. We'll start off with personnel at 16.1 million. This includes salaries and benefits adjustments per labor agreements, and includes a 3% vacancy factor. We did have some staffing deferrals that was approved in the May 18 meeting, including the senior planner, assistant planner, and part-time public safety liaison. And the key takeaway here is that no new positions have been proposed at this time. And with the non-personnel, we have that at 21.4 million. Our budget assumptions here is basically that the department's reductions were incorporated, and our professional services was actually reviewed just to kind of look at efficiencies and cost savings. And we had our ongoing fiscal sustainability measures, and departments actually reduced their budget, their non-personal budget by about 6%. The major cost drivers here is really on the LASD contract at 8.9 million, our operating and maintenance at 11.3, and we also have legal services at about $1.25 million. Just honing in on the public safety expenditures at 9.9 million. This one includes the LASD contract at 8.9 million, public safety staffing at 502,000, and public safety programs at $480,000. This is basically the overall in terms of the categories, which includes transfers out. Total budget being 41.2 million. Of that, salaries and benefits, as mentioned, was 16.1. Operating and maintenance at 11.2. Our Sharon's contract at 8.9 at 22%. Transfers out at 9%, and legal services at 1.2 million, or 3%. This is actually overall 1.3 million less than our revised budget in 25-26. Here, this is basically the fund balance summary. Beginning balance at 33.4, and our revenues and transfers at 42.8 million, with expenditures and transfers at 41.2. Our projected ending fund balance at 35 million. Then we also included additional transfers from our unallocated fund balances to various funds like the CIP fund. And with our 50% reserve policy at 18.6 million, our projected unallocated fund balance is 10.2 million. This slide is basically just a summary of our general fund. As you see, policy number 45 requires recurring revenues to meet or exceed recurring expenditures, and our operating revenues are at 42.5, and our expenditures are at 37.5, showing a structural operating surplus of like about 5 million. In regards to policy number 41, our reserve policy, which establishes a minimum reserve target of 50% of operating expenditures. Our total transfers to CIP is $9.2 million. On the fund balance side, our projected ending fund balance is 35 million. 50% of that is for the reserve requirement is 18.7 million, with a projected unallocated balance of 10.2 million. This slide is just to show you where we were from 5 years ago, starting in fiscal year 2023. Our fund balance projected at 28.8 in fiscal year 2027. As I mentioned, this includes our 18.6 million required reserve under policy number 41, and includes 5.8 million transfers to CIP and $400,000 to pension fund. This includes the 10.2 million unallocated fund balance. James will speak on this later on the 10-year, but this is just kind of a quick look at our 10-year financial model. And as you can see, general fund remains structurally balanced throughout the 10-year forecast. Total balance remains relatively stable at approximately 29 million to about 32 million, and reserve levels continue to grow from 17 million to 25.9 million. Moving on to the 5-year capital improvement program, just a quick overview on that. Next slide. Total CIP budget was 30.9 million, which includes 19 projects. 20 million of that was funded by special revenue funds, or 65%, and CIP funds took care of 35% of that, or $11 million. The major investment areas that you could see to the chart on the right is really under right-of-way improvements at 14.4 million, or 47%. Landslide response and stabilization at 10.6 million, or 34%. Sewer and storm drain at 3 million at 10%, and Abalone Cove sewer repairs at 1.8 million, or 6%. These are just a list of capital improvement projects that we have. As I mentioned, there's 19 capital projects in here, our largest being our roadway maintenance program at $5.6 million. And this is basically our projected fund balance. As you can see, the total beginning fund balance was 35.2 million, with revenues coming in at 26.6, and our operating and CIP program at 38.7 million. We are looking at a projected ending fund balance of 23.1 million, with the CIB fund ending at 18.2 and other funds at 8.2 million. And we are looking at also at a grant reimbursement of about 3.9 million. Okay, and then this is basically the last 5 years for the CIP fund. And FY 2027 projects a fund balance of 18.2. That includes the 5 million emergency project reserve and the 13.2 million unallocated CIP balance. And as you can see, it's declined from the 35.3 million, mostly due to the landslide in 24 and 25. And this is our projected fund balance, again, at 18.2 million in FY 2027. And as you can see, the fund balance gradually declines to 9.7 by FY 2031. Our emergency reserve remains constant at $5 million, and our available CIP funding decreases from about 13.2 to 4.7 million. In regards to other funds, our internal service funds, mainly on our equipment replacement fund and employee pension services fund. Equipment replacement fund has an ending balance of 2.7 million. This basically supports future vehicle and equipment replacement needs. And our employee pension service fund includes a $400,000 transfer to the general fund, and this continues implementation of the city's pension guidelines. And now I turn it over to James for fiscal sustainability.
Thank you, Robert. So the city has a history of a pay-as-you-go approach. This does have, this is a using of the available resources of the fund balance. The capital's primary funding sources are special revenues, as it was indicated in the earlier slides, special revenues and grant funds and the CIP fund. It does result in lower taxes compared to other municipalities. And there is less reliance on debt financing. This does have the other side of that is that you can have delayed capital projects or projects that have to be scaled back with a pay-as-you-go approach. The long-term sustainability challenges with significant unfunded projects, also as noted earlier. Capital funding relies heavily on the general fund's performance, and the priorities will compete with operational needs. For the city council goal, over the last 2 fiscal years, the decisions that have been made by council have resulted in an additional $11.3 million in fund balance, as was mentioned on the first slide with Director Ramos. But as you can see there, $5.8 million from revenues and grants, savings of lower capital expenditures resulting in $3.7 million worth of savings, and $1.8 million of savings of lower general fund expenditures. As part of the sustainability, there is the community survey that you're familiar with, and this did highlight the high priorities from that, maintaining the roads, preparing for and responding to wildfires, reducing wildfire risk by managing brush and other fuel loads, preventing property crimes such as home invasion, break-ins, and vehicle thefts, and preventing landslides and land movements are all high priorities that were identified. Those results are recognized that additional funding would be needed to support programs for those priorities. And 2 options that were identified to be considered by council would be TOT and golf tax. Those are funding mechanisms paid for by visitors rather than RPV residents, and has the potential of a result of $26.6 million over 10 years. And I believe that concludes our presentation and will take us to the action before you. So the recommendation is to receive and file. I'll just kind of summarize these but on the screen here. Receive and file the year-end estimates, review the preliminary general fund budget and approve the following: $42.5 million in operating revenues, $320,000 in operational transfers in, operating expenditures of $37 million, as detailed in all of that. Operating annual for fiscal year 26-27 sources, transfers out of approximately $3.8 million, which includes, next slide, the $3.4 million in capital CIP fund for capital maintenance and improvements, the $215,000 for habitat restoration, $55,000 in Subregion 1 fund, $50,000 for Abalone Cove Sewer Fund, and $15,000 for the Improvement Authority for Portuguese Bend. Additional transfers out of $1.1 million for the CIP fund based off of fiscal year 26-27 projected revenues, exceeding expenditures in annual transfers. Additional transfers of $5.1 million for the fiscal year 25-26 unallocated balance, in accordance to the reserve policy number 41 as detailed, to review and approve the fiscal year 26-27 preliminary citywide budget consisting of the CIP fund and program list, special revenue funds, and permanent funds, to review and approve the fiscal year 26-27 preliminary citywide budget for the internal service fund as detailed, and to direct staff to return on June 16th for the budget public hearing and the budget adoption consideration.
Thank you. Questions from council to staff?
Question?
No questions?
No, I have a question. I want to know if I can approve a revenue greater than 42.5. Can I approve like 60?
Unfortunately, no, Councilmember Bradley. I'll write it down, though, on my notes.
I was going to say, if you can tell us where that revenue's coming from.
That would
sure.
sound like a vote, though. We could do it with a vote.
No, I'm
Good
just
try.
wondering how we can approve or not. I mean, the revenue is what it is. The only thing we really have to decide is how we're going to spend it as we move forward. I wish I could approve more than 42.5. I think we have really good ways to spend that in stabilization of PV Drive South. Unfortunately, I'm not sure that's one of the things that which within our span of control. Or say take more than the 1% sales tax that we get off of our sales tax revenue and make that more equitable for the city. Or more than 6 cents on the dollar for our property tax.
That would be nice.
Yes. Any one of those 3 things would be nice.
But no questions.
No questions.
No questions.
Maybe that was a rhetorical question. Maybe I already knew the answer.
I think.
Council members, any other questions? Okay. Before we have a motion here, I'd like to thank the staff for their efforts. It seems like what's our 5th time we've been here for this discussion. I don't want to say this is last call. It's last call for this year. It's not going to be very long when we're doing next year. And I wanted just to thank everybody for their efforts. This has been a grind. This has been harder than I'm sure in past years. And the amount of effort that's went into it, and a lot of deliberations, and some of the creativity that came out this year is probably new to our processes as well. So I don't want that to pass without a very big thank you to everyone's staff.
We do have a great staff.
We do. We absolutely
Thank you all for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I actually have a statement.
Please.
So I do want to say thank you for staff. I mean, I was joking a little bit that we had 33% more budget workshops, but it is true. So, I mean, staff had to put together another budget workshop. I do appreciate the diligence that our staff has done, being on the audit committee every year, and we get glowing reviews from our audits on how our finance staff does this. I was also want to make a quote, or say a quote from somebody I used to work with. She was very insightful, and she said there are fiscal decisions and then there are decisions that don't matter. So at the end of the day, what we're really talking about is how we spend the public's funds in the best interest of our overall fund. Another quote, and this one by somebody in my industry, no bucks, no Buck Rogers. So thank you for all you do. That's been very difficult with PV Drive South being a almost continual drain on the city coffers to maintain that major piece of infrastructure. There was some interesting correspondence from the community this week on asking if we have reached out to the other cities on the peninsula to help us pay for the remediation of PV Drive South. While I think that is a wonderful idea, I don't think that there is much chance of anybody helping us except our partners at the county, state, and federal level. And I do hope that we continue to get some support from our federal partners. Certainly, we are deserving of FEMA grants and FEMA funding to really help preserve this piece of major infrastructure. With that, I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Is this a 5-part motion, all inclusive?
And is the motion staff recommendation?
Yes.
Well, he jumped on it a little bit quick before I said I'm going to make a motion, and then he just thought he knew what I was going to say. I'll make a motion to accept staff recommendation, which is consistent with what we've been talking about for the last 4 budget workshops, accept our revenue projections as well as the transfers.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Numbers 1 through 5.
1 through 5. We have a motion and a second. Could we have roll, please?
Certainly. Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferraro?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristam?
Yes.
Motion passes. With that, we can move to item number 3. Consider the fiscal year 2026-27 financial model. I do not have any requests to speak.
We have no request to speak? Okay, thank you. And then we are, now we're going to do some modeling, financial modeling.
Exactly, and I'd like to give some opening remarks.
Please.
I'd be remiss if I didn't, but this is an exercise that we do every year. After the budget has been put together, we always do a model to see how the city is going to be at fiscally over the next 10 years. And so the modeling is just that. It's a model. It's based on assumptions, and the assumptions are explained in the staff report, and the finance department will go over that. But it's important that I point out that despite the model and despite the assumptions, this is an important exercise because it tells us, based on our assumptions and based on the forecasts and the trends, where we're going to be at financially in the next 10 years. That said, even though the lines get close and sometimes cross over, it is our responsibility every year when we're preparing a budget that we bring a structurally balanced budget to the council. And so despite what the modeling says, that is our our commitment to the community to make sure our budget balances. And if we have to cut things, we cut things. If we have to find ways to identify savings, and of course, we're always exploring ways to increase revenue. This is important for us to see what the future could look like, to do these scenarios, these tests to play out what, and the Finance Advisory Committee is very instrumental in building out different scenarios so that we are always prepared for the unimaginable when it comes to budgeting. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to the Finance Department. James, is this your item? All right.
Good evening again. So as City Manager mentioned, this is an important tool that the city utilizes as part of the budget process to take a look at the decisions that are being made and how it affects the city long-term. So as is shown on here on the screen, we do look at the historical data, the budget assumptions, which we'll go over because it is funded by a set of assumptions. We do look at the trend analysis to make that long-term forecast. Next slide, please. So as is listed in your staff report, these are the assumptions that we're largely using for that model. These are the same assumptions that were presented to you as the budget workshop on April the 20th. The assumptions have not changed. So again, just to restate the assumptions that are feeding the model. So again, we're looking at revenues exceeding expenditures. This is without transfers. This is showing that we are structurally balanced to that extent. And you will notice that the lines are starting to come a little bit closer together towards 2035, but we are structurally balanced for the duration of the model. Here, when you include transfers, you can see that we are still structurally balanced. You are seeing that those lines do come together. That is largely because of the transfers to the capital improvement program. But again, we start to see those separate out in 2032 and beyond. So here we did want to show that, and actually if you can go back for 1 second, that slide is for the annual transfers. So now with the next slide, this is with the additional $6.2 million that is being transferred from the unallocated fund balance. And it's only because of that transfer that you're seeing the expenditures rise above the revenues there in 2027. You can see the effect of those on the general fund balance. Again, this was a slide that was presented in the preliminary budget presentation. You can see how that fund balance does come down in 2027 and stabilizes and does start to slowly rise as you head out towards 2035. But you also notice that the restricted, or that reserve, based off the reserve policy, that reserve and the restricted portion of that does grow. So as also was reported on April the 20th, we were looking at a sensitivity analysis based off of the recommendation of the FACT committee. This is with the assumption of an emergency in 2030. Based off of the revised numbers and the revised fund balance, the ability to pay for an emergency has been reduced. It has gone down to about $6 million. This here is showing a expenditure of about $6 million in 2030 with the hypothetical emergency. I want to make sure that that's clear, as well as a hypothetical reimbursement of about 50% of that expenditure, whether it be through grant and reimbursement or otherwise. Next slide, please. And this is the exact same scenario here without that 50% reimbursement. So when you look out at 2035, you can still see that with that significant expenditure in 2030, the fund balance does not dip below the reserve policy of 50% of operating expenditures. So that is definitely a good thing there.
Good thing.
And with that, I will take any questions.
Questions?
I guess
Go.
more of a statement.
Okay.
And I continue to be concerned that, and by the way, great job on the budget assumptions and the projecting it out. It does, I think, show a good picture of where we're going, but I continue to be concerned that our lines are approaching each other as we go year over year, which shows that our expenditures structurally are outpacing our revenues. So unless we do something, we are either going to have to reduce services or do something drastic as those two numbers come together. We continue to see our costs outpace inflation and the revenue increases of the city, whether that be for our public safety contracts or for other contracts. But we need to continue to be watching that as we go forward. I appreciate the stress testing and the assumptions of emergency, but as we've seen with PV Drive South, we have emergencies in our city. I continue to debate with our Director of Public Works on the potential for an emergency or how bad the issue is going to be for our storm drains. I have a serious concern that we have a major issue with our storm drains within the city that could be another draw on our budget resources. So I think we have to be very prudent as we move forward. And I think these budget models are very helpful in looking at where we're going to be and being able to help balance services with the critical needs that the city has. That was my comment.
Thank you. Other comments?
With that, oh, sorry.
I was just going to continue on a little bit from Councilman Bradley's statement there, that this is helpful because we see it every year. It actually changes somewhat each year. So the freshening on this gives us the ability to stay on top and not be completely taken by surprise. And that's important for us, especially with maybe we have the pending results on storm drains lurking out there, waiting for us. And so this becomes more of, it's more than just a hypothetical modeling exercise. It stays in the back of our head. And I think that's an important thing. And we'll continue to do that, and we'll hopefully get some relief because long-term, this is a challenge. And it's going to be, as we said a couple times in the last 4 or 5 months, that it becomes more and more of a challenge each year. So we're going to have to, something's going to happen at some point in time. There's going to have to be a revenue source, or input of funds, or we're going to face the situation where we're going to have cut some services that we historically have provided. Thank you. And thank you again for the effort on the modeling. We appreciate that very much. Okay.
Make a motion to accept the staff recommendation of the new updated 5-year model.
Second.
Okay. Vote, please.
Councilmember Ferraro.
Excuse me, is that 5-year or 10-year?
It's a 10-year model.
I'm sorry, 10-year, sorry.
10-year
We
model.
went to 10-year from 5. I'm sorry. I'm in the past.
Okay.
10-year.
10-year, second on the 10-year.
I apologize.
We got it. Vote, please.
Councilmember Ferraro,
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis,
Yes.
Councilmember Bradley,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristem.
Yes.
Motion passes. With that, we can move to our final item. Consider appointing chairpersons to the Planning Commission and the various city advisory boards. Earlier this evening, I did distribute a ballot for the position of chair for the Civic Center Advisory Committee, and I'll collect those.
Ballot.
Seems appropriate that we're voting on tonight, doesn't it? Woo-hoo!
Thank you.
What time are they open till?
10, I think he's 10 o'clock. Okay.
So we're waiting for the tally?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you.
Talk amongst yourselves.
What did you say?
I said, we can talk amongst ourselves.
Waiting for the lefts and returns.
Huh?
We're getting out at a decent hour. But that was a lot of work the staff put in on the budget. And we thank all of the staff, especially the ones that had to come today. And where's the birthday boy?
And eat it, too.
I was going to tell him again, happy birthday.
I believe we have election results.
Results are coming in.
Faster than Los Angeles County. Our clerk rocks
9:05, we have a final reporting.
with all districts reporting.
With all 4 council members reporting. Councilwoman Ferraro voted Mr. O'Brien. Councilmember Lewis voted Mr. O'Brien. Mayor Pro Tem Peristam voted Mr. O'Brien. And Councilmember Bradley voted Mr. O'Brien. It is unanimous. Mr. O'Brien is your chair of your Civic Center Advisory Committee.
No runoff required?
No, we're all set. But I will need a motion for the rest of my staff report. The other, typically the staff report, if I only have one name for the chair, it goes on consent and it's a slam dunk. But so tonight, if your motion could also include naming Commissioner Eric Nolman as the chair of the Planning Commission, Member James Sprinkle as the EPC chair, Member John McAllister as the FAC chair, Member Brian Haig as the IMAC chair, and Member John Ty as the Traffic Safety Committee chair.
So moved.
Thank you.
We have a second?
Sure.
We have a second. Roll call, please.
Thank you. Councilmember Bradley?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferraro?
Yes.
Councilmember Lewis?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Peristam?
Yes.
Motion passes. With that, we can move to our next item,
Which is,
the future agenda items.
does anyone have a future agenda item they'd like to bring up at this point?
No.
No? Okay. Then City Council all reports.
Yes, sir.
Who'd like to begin?
I'll start.
Okay. Councilman Bradley.
So last weekend, I had the great honor of participating in our first wildfire safety expo up at Marymount UCLA South Bay. I'm going to say Marymount. But then again, I still call Buffums in the Peninsula Center, so don't mind me. But a really great event that was put on by Jen and her team in public safety. We had some great vendors up there talking about how to harden our homes. Chief Kane did an amazing, about an hour and a half seminar for many residents where he talked about home hardening, some of the lessons learned from the Arcadia and the Pacific South Palisades wildfires. And there were some really interesting things. Had some landscape architects out there that were talking about how to do a landscape architect plan to reduce fire opportunities or fire resiliency for your home. So really well done. I think we had somewhere over 200 folks come by during the day, which is pretty amazing when you think that this was the only thing going on up at UCLA. Generally, we have something else where we have the farmers market or something like that. But really well done by city staff, and I learned a lot. In fact, I'm going to have some people come out and look at replacing all my vents on my house with fire-safe vents to prevent spark intrusion into the subfloor or into the vents, which is one of the things that was a major cause of structure fires in the Altadena, was embers getting blown into the attic from the winds. So really a great job by staff. So thank you very much for doing that. It's in your department, Catherine, so very nicely done by staff. Thank you. That's my big one.
Okay, thank you. Others? Councilor Farrar.
I just want to say, although all of us went to the Green Hills Memorial service, and I was really proud that every single member of the council went, and even your older son went, and it was great to see him there. And it really means a lot when you think about the soldiers that have given their lives for the city and the country, And I think it's really important that our city participates in that every year. And it was so nice that every single member of the council was there, despite the fact that you all waited until they gave me a ride to my car to take the picture.
We had to wait a while for that to happen, you know?
Well, sorry, but I couldn't be in it, but I was
No, it
really
was
glad
yeah.
that all of us were there. And it's always inspiring. You know, they had a lot of great patriotic music and
People
and
falling
then-
from the sky?
yes, the guys that came down from the sky were amazing. So,
I will say that you had a great point earlier in the city manager's announcements. I do think we need to get the word out more. I don't know that the general public understands that it is a public event. It is open to everyone. In years past, we've had the traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall there, which is one of the most moving pieces of architecture I've ever seen. But I don't know that we get the word out enough that it's open to all, not just veterans, not just family members of folks that have fallen, but it's truly open to the entire public to help us celebrate. And I believe Green Hills sponsors, well, I know Green Hills does, sponsors putting a flag on the gravesite of every military member that is interned at Green Hills. So it's an amazing look when you look out across Green Hills, the number of flags for folks that have been interned in Green Hills that have served. So a wonderful event. Thank you for mentioning it.
Impressive. It was an impressive event. I want to add one thing, that the wildfire event was also co-sponsored by CHOA. And that was on purpose.
Good point.
Because there were some aspects of that type of event that the city cannot be involved in, like getting the vendors out there for participation. So they played a big role in the coordination of that event as well. And so I wanted to give them a shout out and thank them for their efforts, because that was a lot of work. So in addition to the city staff, I want to thank CHOA.
A lot of work by the Parks and Rec as
and Rec's
well,
always at work.
setting up all those tables and they did a yeoman's job out there, as usual.
Yeah, a lot of people to thank. CHOA is always, this is
Yes.
the second annual, and they were instrumental in the first. And of course, this past Saturday, Luna is instrumental in making all of this happen. So,
But Kathy, you are correct. Kathy Edgerton deserves a
President
lot
CHOA.
of credit for getting that pulled together. Good job, Kathy.
Great.
I know you're
Thank
watching.
you. She's listening, I hope.
Oh, I know she's listening.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
move to adjourn.
Motion, second.
And do we have to adjourn to the next official?
No, we just did a second, and
What if
we
we
are.
don't, what if we don't have enough votes to adjourn? Does it mean we just go on?
Then I'll vote. I'll give a second, and we're adjourned.